Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. It's Monday, October 7th, 2024, and these are your Unbiased Updates. It's been 1 year since Hamas attacked Israel, killing over 1,000 victims and igniting a war. How people around the world are marking the anniversary as the conflict in the Middle East continues. And Florida is once again on high alert as another hurricane is barreling toward the Sunshine State. We have the latest track of Hurricane Milton.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. These are today's Unbiased Updates.
It's now been 1 year since Hamas militants attacked Israel, killing roughly 1,200 people, taking 250 others hostage, and setting off a war in the Middle East that shows no signs of stopping. In what appears to be a major new offensive, the Israeli military says it struck Hamas targets across Gaza overnight after issuing evacuation warnings for much of the north. Meantime, Hamas has fired a barrage of rockets at Tel Aviv as Hamas leaders celebrated 1 year of war and sending Israel back to, quote, square one. They called for Palestinians to escalate their resistance. Israel also carried out heavy strikes on Beirut overnight and sent more troops into Lebanon as part of its ground invasion targeting Hezbollah. The terror organization has been attacking Israel in a show of solidarity since Hamas started the war last year. Both Hezbollah and Hamas are backed by Iran, which denies having anything to do with last October's attacks. However, Iran marked the 1 year anniversary by praising the attacks. This comes as many more people mark the day in a more somber way. Family members of more than 350 people killed at Israel's Nova Music Festival gathered at the site to hold a memorial. While protests were held across the globe as millions call for an end to the war, many people are focusing on the plight of the Palestinian people in Gaza who have seen the brunt of the impact of this war. Since last year, Palestinian health officials say more than 41,800 people have been killed in Gaza, including more than 16,000 children. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has stated numerous times that Israel will not stop until Hamas has been wiped out. Turning to the election, the presidential candidates are making their presence known this week with just 29 days to go until Election Day. Vice President Kamala Harris is on a media tour that began on Sunday with the Democratic nominee appearing as a guest on Alex Cooper's podcast, Call Her Daddy. She will then make stops Tuesday at The View, Late Night with Stephen Colbert, and The Howard Stern Show. Tonight, 60 Minutes will air its election special that includes a pre-recorded interview with the vice president. CBS News released a preview of the interview. Reporter Bill Whitaker asks Harris about the United States' relationship with Israel.
When we think about the threat that Hamas, Hezbollah presents, Iran, I think that it is without any question our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. And we're not going to stop in terms of putting that pressure on Israel and in the region, including Arab leaders.
CBS News says former President Donald Trump backed out of the 60 Minutes interview, though a Trump campaign spokesperson said he never agreed to it. Instead, Fox News will broadcast a pre-taped interview with the former president tonight with anchor Laura Ingraham. Fox News released a clip of the interview where Trump speaks about surviving the first assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania.
The hospital was great, and I didn't realize this. I never knew they did. When a president goes to an area, they close a hospital in its entirety. It's ready for exactly this. I didn't know they did that, but they did. So the hospital, I got there, the doctors were outside, the nurses, and no people. They literally close it, and almost like they expect this. No, it's a genius thing, but you would never do. Who would ever think that? And I was so impressed.
Over the weekend, Donald Trump returned to Butler, Pennsylvania for the first time since the shooting, holding a rally with his running mate J.D. Vance and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Today, Trump is scheduled to hold an October 7th remembrance ceremony at his golf club in Miami, while Vice President Harris is set to deliver remarks and plant a tree at the vice presidential residence in Washington, D.C. to mark the anniversary. Less than 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene blasted parts of Florida, another severe big storm is on the way. Tropical storm Milton intensified in the Gulf of Mexico on Sunday to a Category 1 hurricane, with forecasters predicting it could make landfall on Florida's west coast on Wednesday. Residents have begun preparing for Milton, which reports say could reach a Category 4 strength before making landfall in the Tampa area as a Category 3. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis warning of high storm surge and more power outages, with locations already struck by Hurricane Helene, possibly now affected by Milton. Helene killed more than 200 people across 6 states. The governor warning people who live on the west coast of Florida to be prepared to evacuate ahead of Hurricane Milton. In fact, some evacuation orders are already in effect this morning for people who live in manufactured homes or on their boats along what is called the Suncoast. A new U.S. Supreme Court term begins today, with the justices returning to the bench from their summer break to decide on dozens of cases, including those involving guns, the adult entertainment industry, and transgender issues. On Tuesday, the court will hear arguments on a case concerning the regulation of ghost guns, with manufacturers and gun rights groups saying the Biden administration overstepped its authority to require background checks on these type of firearm kits. Later in their term, the justices will weigh in on Tennessee's law that restricts puberty blockers and hormone therapy for minors. The High Court will also take on a case of a Texas law requiring age verification for pornographic websites. The new term runs until next summer. Scary moments caught on video. Wow, look at this. A Frontier Airlines plane catches fire while landing at the Las Vegas airport over the weekend. The airline releasing a statement saying the pilots detected smoke while the plane was in the process of landing on Saturday. The FAA says there were reports of a fire in the cockpit just before the emergency landing at Harry Reid International Airport. The San Diego to Las Vegas flight landed safely. Frontier saying all 190 passengers and 7 crew members on board were evacuated and no injuries were reported. This morning, the cause of the fire remains under investigation. Finally this morning, although the NBA season has not officially begun, Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James is already making history. On Sunday, James shared the court for the first time with his son Bronny, becoming the first father-son duo to achieve that feat in an NBA game. Though it was a preseason game, it was still another accomplishment for the elder James, who at age 39 is entering his 22nd NBA season and will likely make more NBA history when he joins his son on the court during the regular season. By the way, adding to the special moment, Sunday was also Bronny's 20th birthday. These are your unbiased updates for this Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.